years down the road and you still haven't started working on whatever you were thinking about working on today, and you're no further. So don't do that to yourself. As my friend Doug says, don't should on yourself. Anyway, I like to revisit a couple of very specific chronic illness topics because this stuff is really hard to live with. And I know it can be really hard on the people around us trying to navigate this. It's a minefield. It really is. I mean, my life is I'm on a tightrope constantly of, okay, if I do this, what's that going to cost me over here? And I'm always trying to keep my symptoms up, not up, but trying to balance everything. And it can be really difficult, and it can be hard on the people around us. So here are some good ways that you can support someone who has a chronic illness. By the way, this information is from themighty.com, and The Mighty is a great resource for people with chronic illnesses and or disabilities. Sorry, the dog was laying on my feet and he just walked away, and I'm like, no, come back, because he keeps my feet warm. Anyway, number one, check in with us. We withdraw. We withdraw because we don't want to sound whiny. We withdraw because we don't want to, we just don't want to be a burden on anybody. But when you take a minute to reach out, it lets us know that you haven't forgotten us. Let me tell you, that's really important. Number two, things that really shouldn't need to be said, but you know what? People have a hard time listening anyway. We're not really taught to be good listeners. Most of us listen with the intent of responding instead of listening with the intention of just listening and absorbing what the other person is telling you. But listen to your friend, listen to your family member. Don't judge. You don't understand. We know that you don't understand. We accept that you cannot possibly understand. But listen with an open heart. And for the love of every chronically ill person's sanity, do not tell someone who has a chronic pain condition, well, everybody hurts sometimes. Really? No shit? That's what you got to offer me? Are you kidding? Of course everybody hurts sometimes. We're not morons. But until you have spent month after month after month of your life sitting in doctor's offices, hey, beautiful, thank you. I love you too. You're such a sweetheart. You really are. I'm so blessed. I have some freaking awesome ladies in my life. But until you've spent months, years chasing a diagnosis, don't come at me telling me that you hurt sometimes, because I'm just not going to have any empathy. Because I am a really positive person, I try to assume when people come at me like that they're trying to build a little bridge of understanding, but it doesn't. It demeans my situation. I find it demoralizing, and it honestly, a lot of times it's going to impact my impression of you. Well, okay, I'll be really honest. It always does. Don't offer unsolicited advice. I guarantee you, we have had the conversations with our doctors about our nutrition, about our weight, about our exercise. I try to be really gracious about it, but when someone says, well, you need to exercise more, really? I exercise 6 days a week. I actually had to cut back on exercise because my health is so poor. I was told, you can't do that, it's too stressful. So what the hell am I supposed to do? Nutrition? Yeah, okay, my nutrition could be better, but I'll tell you what, my nutrition's a hell of a lot better than most people's. I cook most of my meals autoimmune paleo, which is super restrictive, but it's really healthy. I eat most of my meals that I cook are AIP. I eat well. I exercise. Because my situation's not that simple. So don't tell people that. And you also need to understand, this stuff is hard to talk about. It's hard for us to talk about it in detail, even with other people in similar situations. It has shocked me, and I've mentioned this numerous times, it has shocked me how often I will have interacted with someone on Twitter, because that's the only social media I really spend time on. And there's been women I've interacted with for 2 or 3 years, and out of nowhere, they'll DM me and just, hey, I've got this chronic illness. And it's like, wait, what? I had no idea. but we don't talk about it. A lot of people don't talk about it at all. I talk about it because I want to be an advocate. I talk about it because when I was first diagnosed, I didn't have anybody to look to say, well, yeah, okay, you kind of got a crappy hand, but what are you going to do about it? You got to make the best of it. Little side note, if you're dealing with health issues, I understand, and I encourage you to look into support groups. I'm hoping things have changed, but when I was first diagnosed quite some time ago, God, I can't believe how long I've been living with this crap. Anyway, when I was first diagnosed, I joined all these different support groups online because I wanted so desperately to connect with people who understood what I was going through. But you know what? Be really careful with those groups. Because yes, you can connect with people who empathize, and yes, you can connect with people who understand. But a lot of those groups, not all of them, but a lot of them, it's a race to the bottom. It becomes a daily contest over whose life sucks the most. Please don't put yourself in that kind of situation, because that kind of negativity, it's going to drag you down. And if you're dealing with this shit, you do not need any help being dragged down. So just go into it with that in mind. Number 3, you got to roll with the punches. It's not about you. I know that's shocking for a lot of people to hear, but you know, I got to where I went for a long time where I wouldn't make plans with anybody because my so-called friends were so bitchy and judgmental. Oh my God, are you canceling plans again? You're such a flake, Courtney. Y'all wouldn't believe. I don't have any idea what he's barking at. Anyway, y'all wouldn't believe how many times people that I thought were good friends of mine have said that kind of stuff to me. But you know what? None of those people are in my life anymore. None of them. I just eased them out, and that's going to drive me crazy, but I'm not going to let him distract me. Number 4, educate yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to become an expert on whatever disease your friend or loved one has. But for goodness sakes, take 30 seconds. Do a Google search. Look it up on Wikipedia. It takes very little of your time to make a tremendous impact on somebody in your life. What's really weird about that is my driveway alarm didn't go off. So I'll bet what that is. I'll bet the little fox that runs through the neighborhood just ran by the window. He likes to do that. My yard is part of the game trail, apparently. He goes down and kills my neighbor's chickens and carries them through my yard back to wherever his den is. So I'm assuming that's what the dog is barking at. Anyway, you need to educate yourself a little bit. And you know what? If you had a question, just ask. Just ask. Most people are going to receive your questions pretty well. I mean, unless you just ask something and being a complete jerk about it. But most people will receive that well, and they're going to appreciate the fact that you want to know. Now, that being said, I have a really good friend who got. She used to get really frustrated with me, and she chewed my ass one day, and she's like, Court, quit telling me you're okay when I know you're not. I want to know how you're doing. If I didn't want to know, I wouldn't ask you. And I understand that. But what I explained to her was, and what y'all need to understand is, if I have to focus on this crap enough to where I can really explain it to you, I'm focusing on it way too much. I don't want to. I really don't want to. I want to try to put it in the back of my head. I don't want to talk about this all the time. Yes, sometimes I need to vent. Yes, sometimes I need to whine. I will own that all day. You bet your ass sometimes I need to whine. But I want to put it as far into the back of my head as I can. So I don't want to describe it to you. Number 5, don't attend the pity party. Oh my goodness, I'm not a party girl. I don't throw parties. My idea of throwing a party is to make reservations somewhere. But when it comes to pity parties, I am the queen of throwing pity parties. But you know, it's okay if you're the one who's dealing with this. Have your pity party. Have a pity party once in a while because you deserve it. You had a lot of things to be unhappy about. But you can't live there. You can't dwell in the negative part of this shit. Excuse my language. But you can't. You're gonna sink yourself. It's inevitable that people dealing with this stuff we're gonna feel sorry for ourselves sometimes. That's just the way it goes. But don't join the party. For goodness sakes. I mean, I hate it when people tell me, yeah, your life really sucks. Well, no, honestly, I have a lot of Challenges, certainly, but I don't think my life sucks. I'm a pretty fortunate person. I have an incredible support system. I have friends and family who love me. I am a blessed person. And it drives me nuts. Oh my God, your life, I can't imagine living like that. Well, no, you can't. And I'm glad you can't. But you don't need to tell me that it sucks, because I don't see it that way. When I talk about what I'm dealing with somebody, or if I post it online, I'm not looking for pity. I'm really not. I'm looking for encouragement. I'm looking for people to help uplift me, for people to just remind me that, you know what, tomorrow's another day, and it's probably going to be a better one than today. So hang in there. Number 6, don't become an enforcer. This one is a real sensitive subject for me. You know what? Sometimes I want to go out with the girls, and I want to kick up my heels, and I want to have too many cocktails, and I want to eat food that I know I'm not supposed to eat. And yes, I'm going to pay for it the next day. I am very well aware of that. I do not need you to tell me that I shouldn't do that. Your role in our lives, it's not to be our conscience. It's for you to be our supporters. It's for you to lift us up. It's for you to give us a soft place to land when we're crashing, because it gets really overwhelming. Y'all don't have any idea. It gets so overwhelming. We just need you to be supportive and not judgmental. And finally, number 7, just accept us. Things have changed. We are far more aware of things changing than you are. And we do not need you to say, well, you used to do. Well, I can't do those things anymore. That's just the way it goes. Does it suck? Yes. Would we like to have our old lives back? Well, yes, with a few caveats. But you need to understand. This one really gets me too. You need to understand that chronic means exactly that. It means it's not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm going to have good days here and there. Yeah, I'm going to have really ragged days here and there. But it's always going to be with me. That's just the way it is. I was about to say this is the new normal, but gosh damn, we've just beat that poor saying into the ground, haven't we? But don't remind people of the things they used to be able to do, because that life is gone. And there's nothing that the person in your life dealing with this, there's not a lot they can do to get that back. All of us have to adjust to a new lifestyle. If you don't think that family dynamics change when one of the parties gets very, very ill, you've never seen anybody with health issues, because shit changes. Everything changes. That's part of why we often feel sorry for ourselves. That's part of why we grieve heavily. But what are you going to do? Truly, what the hell are you going to do about it? If you're the one dealing with this stuff, what the hell are you going to do? Are you going to just sit there and feel sorry for yourself? Well, where's that going to get you? Nowhere. So suck it the hell up. Put on your big girl or big boy pants. And you know what? If all you can do today is make it from your bed to the couch, because it's that, I've had days like that. But you know what? If you did that, you got out of bed. You didn't give in to that feeling of just, I'm not going to say the word, screw it. I almost did. I try to keep this mostly PG. But when you're in the point of just, I don't want to get up, I don't want to move, and you brush your teeth, maybe you change clothes, and you get out to the couch, and that's all you do. You know what? That's a freaking win. Those are 3 wins. So you need to celebrate that stuff. If you're the one dealing with these health issues and you don't celebrate your small wins, you're not going to do a hell of a lot of celebrating. And you know what? I know this stuff sounds so silly. I know it sounds really basic, but I'm telling you, when you're really down in the dumps, write down on put stuff on your to-do list that you know for a fact you're going to do the next day, like brush your teeth. I would hope to God that's on your to-do list. It's not on everybody's for whatever reason. But when you get up and you can tick that off, even something as small as that, at the end of the day, you're going to have a little bit of a sense of accomplishment and a sense of pride. And it's going to really help you turn things around and quit feeling so sorry for yourself. And again, You're entitled to the pity party. You're entitled to be pissed off and angry and bitter. And of course, heartbroken and grieving and sad, but you can't live there. And for goodness sakes, if you're the healthy person in this scenario, English is my first language. If the loved one in your life needs to just vent and cry and rage, let them. Don't say a whole lot unless they ask you to. Guys, love ya. I do. You can't fix this. You need to let go of the idea of fixing it. And you need to just, if the woman in your life, or maybe it's your boyfriend, maybe it's your husband, I don't know what your situation is. But if that person that you care about just needs to vent, just let them. Just let them. You know, it's a lot easier for you to find a way to cope with that than it is for them to just keep all that shit inside, and keep stuffing those emotions down, because you know what? I know from experience that doing that, it doesn't work and it only makes you sicker. Anyway, that is all I have for tonight. I will be back Wednesday at 5 o'clock Alaska time. If y'all have any questions about dealing with chronic illness or how to be supportive of someone with chronic illness, I got your back. Hit me up on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I've been doing this a long time, unfortunately. But the good news of that is it means I have a lot of things that I've learned over the years and a lot of tweaks I can suggest for your lifestyle and for your attitude to help you got to learn to roll with the punches. Anyway, off my